What if the most dangerous disease you have right now has no symptoms, no pain, no warning, no way to know until it's already too late to fully reverse? In 2023, the American Liver Foundation published something that should have been front-page news everywhere. 113 million Americans currently have fatty liver disease. 113 million. That's 1 in 3 adults. 1 in 3 people watching this video right now. And here's what makes it different from every other silent disease. Your liver has 0 pain receptors. 0. It physically cannot send you a distress signal. It cannot tell you it's inflamed. It cannot tell you it's accumulating fat. It cannot tell you the damage has already started. The only way you find out is when a doctor runs a blood panel and your liver enzymes come back elevated. By that point, in many cases, you've already lost decades of liver function. I want you to think about something for just a moment. When did you last eat something processed? When did you last take a painkiller? When did you last drink tap water? Every single one of those things went through your liver. Every medication, every artificial ingredient, every pesticide residue on every vegetable you didn't wash long enough. Your liver processed all of it, silently, without complaint. And here is the thing the pharmaceutical industry has known for 20 years and never put in an advertisement. There is not a single FDA-approved drug for the most common liver condition in the modern world. Not one. For the disease affecting 1 in 3 adults, conventional medicine's official answer is, eat less, exercise more, come back in 6 months. But while pharmaceutical companies spent billions failing to synthesize a solution, 7 plants that ancient physicians documented thousands of years ago have been quietly confirmed by modern hepatology research to do something no synthetic drug has ever achieved: regenerate liver tissue. And one of them is sitting in your kitchen right now. A 2021 peer-reviewed study confirmed it drops liver inflammation markers by 41% in just 8 weeks. Not slows the damage, not manages the symptoms. 41%. Stay with me. Because plant number 6 was prescribed by ancient Egyptian physicians 4,000 years ago for what their medical texts called the hardening of the liver. Modern hepatologists now call that cirrhosis. They had the treatment before we had the name for the disease. Here are the 7 ancient plants that detox and repair your liver fast. Let's go. Plant 1. Milk Thistle. If you only take one thing away from this entire video, let it be this plant. Milk thistle has been documented as a liver medicine for over 2,000 years. The ancient Greeks used it. The Romans used it. Medieval European physicians used it. Every single one of them for the same thing: the liver. That convergence across cultures and centuries is not coincidence. That is thousands of years of human observation pointing at a biological truth. The active compound is called silymarin. Think of silymarin as a force field for your liver cells. When a toxin, alcohol, medication, pesticide, tries to penetrate a liver cell membrane and cause damage, silymarin physically blocks the entry point. It doesn't neutralize the toxin. It protects the door. But that's only half of what it does. Silymarin also switches on the liver's own repair mechanism at the cellular level, telling damaged cells to start rebuilding themselves. That is not symptom management. That is cellular regeneration triggered by a plant. A meta-analysis of 17 randomized controlled trials confirmed that silymarin significantly reduces AST and ALT, the liver enzymes your doctor checks to measure inflammation and damage. When those numbers drop, the liver is healing. How to use it: 140 milligrams of silymarin extract, standardized to 70 to 80%, twice daily with meals. Do not buy cheap milk thistle with no standardization on the label. Silymarin content varies by up to 400% between brands. Quality is everything. Milk thistle protects and repairs the liver cell. What comes next attacks the problem from a completely different angle, targeting the hidden drainage system your liver depends on to flush toxins out. Plant 2. Dandelion root. The plant you've been paying someone to remove from your lawn is one of the most powerful liver medicines on earth. Your liver produces bile, a fluid with 2 jobs: break down dietary fat and carry toxins out through the digestive tract. When bile flows well, toxins leave. When bile slows, toxins stay. They get reabsorbed into the bloodstream and recirculate. That cycle is one of the primary drivers of chronic liver inflammation. Dandelion root breaks it. It contains bitter compounds called taraxacin and taraxacerin that stimulate bile production and accelerate its release from the gallbladder. More bile, faster flow, toxins out before they can be reabsorbed. Ancient Egyptian physicians used dandelion root for what their texts described as sluggish liver, a description that maps almost perfectly onto what modern hepatologists call non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. They didn't have the terminology. They had the plant. How to use it. 1 tablespoon of dried root simmered in water for 10 minutes, consumed before your 2 largest meals of the day. The bitter tea form activates bile release the moment it touches your tongue. That's why the classical preparation was always a tea. The ancients understood the delivery mechanism. Plant 3. Artichoke leaf. Not the artichoke heart you eat at dinner, the leaf, which contains 10 times the therapeutic compounds of the edible part. Here's the compound your doctor probably hasn't mentioned: homocysteine. It's an amino acid that accumulates in the bloodstream and causes direct oxidative damage to liver cells. Modern diets, chronic stress, and medication use push homocysteine levels higher than the liver can handle. Most standard blood panels don't even test for it. Artichoke leaf contains 2 compounds that work together to clear it. Silymarin stimulates liver cell regeneration and bile production. Chlorogenic acid neutralizes the oxidative damage homocysteine causes to liver tissue. 1 protects, 1 repairs. A randomized controlled trial in 90 patients with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease showed artichoke leaf extract dropped AST by 22% and ALT by 19% in just 2 months. 2 months from a leaf. How to use it. 600 milligrams of artichoke leaf extract standardized to 5% silymarin, twice daily before meals. Taken alongside milk thistle, you're protecting the cell membrane while simultaneously clearing the damage inside the cell. That combination is what ancient physicians arrived at empirically. Modern hepatology is now explaining the mechanism. Plant 4. Schisandra berry. Most people watching this have never heard of it, and that is exactly why it's on this list. Schisandra is a small red berry that grows across northeastern China and Russia. In traditional Chinese medicine, it carries a name that translates directly to the 5 flavor fruit, because it simultaneously tastes sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and pungent. Ancient Chinese physicians believed a plant that contained all 5 flavors worked on all 5 organ systems simultaneously. Modern hepatology confirmed they were right about the liver specifically. Schisandra has been used in Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years for what classical texts describe as liver weakness, fatigue, poor digestion, chemical sensitivity, and what physicians today would recognize as elevated liver enzymes. The active compounds are called schisandrins, a family of lignans unique to this berry that no other plant produces in meaningful concentration. Here is the mechanism that makes hepatologists pay attention. Schisandrins activate a cellular pathway called NRF2, the master switch that controls your liver's internal antioxidant production system. When NRF2 is activated, your liver cells start producing their own protective compounds: glutathione, superoxide dismutase, catalase. Think of it as teaching the liver to defend itself from the inside out, not supplying the antioxidants, activating the factory that makes them. A clinical study published in Phytomedicine tested Schisandra extract in patients with elevated liver enzymes. After 3 months, ALT dropped by an average of 38%. AST dropped by 34%. Patients reported significant reduction in fatigue and digestive discomfort. The ancient Chinese physicians who called it the 5 flavor fruit weren't being poetic. They were describing a plant that works on the whole system. How to use it. 500 milligrams of Schisandra extract, standardized to 9% schisandrins, once daily with your largest meal. You can also find dried Schisandra berries and brew them as a tea. 2 grams steeped for 10 minutes. Slightly sour, slightly sweet. Surprisingly pleasant. Plant 5. Beetroot. The Ebers Papyrus, one of the oldest written medical texts on Earth, dating to 1550 BCE, describes a preparation made from a deep crimson root used to treat what Egyptian physicians called the seat of the blood. They were describing the liver. The root was beetroot. Beetroot is one of the richest dietary sources of betaine, a compound your liver uses to neutralize homocysteine before it can cause oxidative damage to liver tissue. It also contains betalains, the pigments responsible for that deep red color, which are among the most potent antioxidants ever studied specifically for liver protection. A study in patients with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease showed that 12 weeks of beetroot juice significantly reduced liver enzyme levels, oxidative stress markers, and inflammatory cytokines. The Egyptian physicians who prescribed this 4,000 years ago were correct. Modern molecular biology just explained why. How to use it. 250 milliliters of fresh beetroot juice daily on an empty stomach in the morning, or 2 medium raw beets consumed daily. Raw provides the highest betalain content. If you cook it, keep it brief. Heat degrades the compounds fast. 5 plants in. Plant 6 is the one I told you about in the hook, the one ancient Egyptian physicians prescribed for the hardening of the liver. Plant 6. Boldo. This is the one most people have never heard of, and that gap between how powerful it is and how unknown it remains is one of the most significant missed opportunities in natural medicine today. Boldo is a tree native to the Andes Mountains of Chile and Peru. For at least 2,000 years, indigenous Mapuche healers used its leaves specifically for what they called liver heaviness, fatigue, sluggish digestion, and upper right abdominal discomfort. Today, Boldo is a standard prescribed herbal remedy in Germany, France, and Brazil. It is virtually unknown in the English-speaking world. The active compound is called boldine, and here's what makes Boldo unique among every plant in this video. Boldine inhibits hepatic stellate cell activation. Hepatic stellate cells are the cells that produce liver fibrosis, the scar tissue that forms as liver damage accumulates. Fibrosis is the bridge between fatty liver disease and cirrhosis. It's the point where reversible damage becomes permanent. Boldine interrupts that process. It doesn't just protect healthy tissue. It interferes with the scar-forming mechanism itself. A study published in Food and Chemical Toxicology confirmed that boldine significantly reduces fibrosis markers and stellate cell activity in induced liver damage models, with no toxic effects at therapeutic doses. How to use it. 2 grams of dried Boldo leaf steeped in hot water for 8 minutes, once daily before dinner. Do not exceed 2 grams per day. Do not use during pregnancy. Do not combine with blood-thinning medications. The dose makes the medicine. Plant 7. Chicory root. In the Canon of Medicine, written by the Persian physician Avicenna in 1025 CE, chicory root receives an unusual designation. He calls it the opener of liver obstructions. Not a liver tonic, not a liver support, the opener of liver obstructions. That language maps with remarkable precision onto what modern hepatology understands about bile duct congestion and hepatic blood flow restriction. Avicenna wasn't guessing. Chicory root works through 3 separate compounds simultaneously. Inulin feeds the gut bacteria that process bile acids and liver-filtered toxins, reducing the liver's total detoxification workload. Esculin improves blood flow through the portal vein, the vessel that delivers everything from your digestive tract directly to your liver. Chichoric acid reduces liver enzyme elevation and has demonstrated direct hepatoprotective activity in cell studies. 3 compounds, 3 mechanisms, 1 root. Egyptian, Greek, Roman, Persian, and Ayurvedic physicians all documented chicory for liver conditions, independently, across 5,000 years. That is not folklore. That is the longest clinical trial in human history. A study published in the World Journal of Gastroenterology confirmed that after 12 weeks of chicory root extract, ALT and AST dropped significantly. Liver ultrasound showed measurable reduction in hepatic fat, and patients reported major improvement in fatigue and digestion. How to use it. Roasted chicory root brewed as a coffee substitute, 1 cup before breakfast and 1 before dinner. This is the exact preparation used across every culture that documented it. Nutty, slightly bitter, deeply satisfying. The ancient world didn't just use it as medicine, they used it because they loved it, and their livers thanked them for it. 7 plants, 7 mechanisms, 1 organ working right now, silently, invisibly, to keep you alive. Your liver performs over 500 distinct biochemical functions every single day. It never stops, it never sleeps, it never complains. And the ancient physicians who documented these 7 plants, from Egypt to Persia to the Andes, got there without MRI scanners, without hepatology journals, without molecular biology. They had time. thousands of years of careful observation. And what they recorded, civilization after civilization, modern laboratories keep confirming they got there first. We are just catching up. If you want to go deeper, protocols, dosage combinations, what to stack and in what order, leave a comment right now with your biggest liver concern. I read every single one. If this video gave you something, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button now. Your liver built you. It's time to return the favor.